Hello again, welcome back to my channel. This is the Oatmeal Uprising podcast, and we are today doing the second episode, episode 2. And before I get into the episode, I just wanted to say a few things. I do not have the easy ability to look into the camera right now because I'm using the front facing camera of my phone and I am looking at myself, and it is quite annoying to look at myself. If you are annoyed by looking at me for a long time of the video, imagine me having to look at myself while recording the video and then while editing the video multiple times over and over and over again. And not to even mention, I have to listen to my voice as well. I'm currently able to listen to my voice because I have ears. That's why I would be able to have I have to listen to my voice once again while I edit this video. That is why I'm trying to do everything in one take so that I don't have to listen to my voice over and over again. That is your problem, not mine. The podcast is started so that I become your problem right now. Okay, so getting into the episode, for full disclosure, I do have cliff notes written on my screen right now. The screen is just next to the camera, and I would be looking there a couple of times just to reference what I would be saying. I'm not that fluent that I can just speak out of my mind and then still be coherent. If you read few of my writings, you will know that I'm not exactly coherent at all times, and I'm quite aware of that, right? But today we are going to be talking about the art of being cringe. Okay, so it's the way we get started with things. If you want to get started with things, you have to be okay with being cringe. So I'm going to talk about my only non-physical hobby, and get your mind out of the gutter. I am talking about exercise being the other hobby. So the only other non-physical hobby I have is writing. I am quite engrossed in my habit of writing. I have been writing on Medium for 4 years now. It started in December of 2021. Before that, I used to write just on my own, just for the sake of my own entertainment. And Medium is still just for the sake of my own outlets. A lot of times it has been. It's like it was 11 at night and I was having a lot of thoughts that I just had to pen down and write somewhere. That is one of the reasons I have my blog. So I have to start from somewhere, right? So I'll start at the very beginning on how I exactly got started with writing. I was in a very Maharashtrian school, so my English was not great for a long time. I did not learn proper spoken English or written English till at least I was in 10th grade. I learned most of my English from watching wrestling. To the point it was CM Punk and John Cena teaching me how to speak in a way. So if you see right now as well, I speak in a way that is quite adversarial. If I want to be a debater, I've been debating only my shampoo bottles right now, but this is going to come in use finally. I'm going to speak on my podcast because I have been speaking only to the shampoo bottles, and now I may have an audience of more than 2 people. At least my mom is there. All right. So getting back to the topic. So I was not that great at English, right? So I did not get started in writing for a long time until I got confident enough in my ability to just air out a sentence. If I was able to air out a coherent sentence, I would be okay with starting writing. I had a lot of thoughts to write down, since my childhood, I would say. A lot of things have been happening around in the country. I was a North Indian in Maharashtra. I lived through that weird kind of immigrant experience. I was in a proper Maharashtrian school, which I did not like that much. So there was a lot of experiences to write about. I wasn't exactly a good person, so there was a lot of introspection going around as well. So one by one, there was a lot of things that were piling up that I had to eventually get through. But to get started with writing, I first needed to know how to read properly, how to get coherent sentences out, right? So I got started with my reading in fantasy. So my love for fantasy and fiction reading like transcends a lot of other things. I did not get started with reading before 10th grade. I think I had watched all the Harry Potter movies before I actually read the Harry Potter books. And of course, books are better than the movies, but that doesn't mean that I'm an elitist in any way and telling you that you should only be reading the books and the movies are just a cheap adaptation. No, no, no. I got started with the movies. I just love the books, but I got started with the movies, right? So, getting back to Harry Potter was my foray into actually reading, and I thought that's quite a cool skill to have, being able to pen down an entire world. I still respect J.K. Rowling quite a lot for her contributions to this media. J.K. Rowling, despite all of her opinions, whether you agree with her, whether you disagree with her, it doesn't matter. The art is separate from the artist. So I am still quite a huge fan of the artist, and I'm going to take a peek at my cliff notes, so don't judge me. All right, so I'll go back to getting started with Harry Potter. After Harry Potter, I actually got started with Jeffrey Archer. Now, Jeffrey Archer has a way of writing things that actually transcend just the book. So, for example, here you have chase sequences in movies. I don't think I've seen any chase sequence as thrilling as Matter of Honor's chase sequence in the book. So Jeffrey Archer had an emphatic way of writing. So one by one, I started gathering inspirations for the way I could write on my own. And if you currently read my blog, you won't find any, you would find a lot of inspirations. But I do have to say, not to toot my own horn, but I have a different style of writing. It's a lot more reflective. It's a lot more abstract. It's a lot less coherent than Jeffrey Archer, of course, because it is not trying to tell a story. It's trying to tell a mindset in abstraction. So if you read most of my later blogs, it is like that. I have dabbled into writing movie reviews. I have a friend that we used to read each other's articles when we used to publish them, and it was amazing to have the feedback from his end as well. Like, he is a coherent writer and I'm a deeply incoherent writer. I want to leave more and more to a reader's introspection and to their interpretation of my articles. I wanted to keep it that way. So the first thing that I had to get over was my fear of being cringe. If you read my writing, a lot of it is extremely cringe. A lot of it is so abstract. Sometimes it is sad, sometimes it is depressive, sometimes it is profoundly weird, and it is cringe. I won't lie. I've read it and I've realized that it would embarrass me someday. It has embarrassed me already. The English is not that great. English is choppy. And by the way, I am all for English because I've tried writing in Hindi and it is quite hard to write in Hindi. I've not tried writing in Marathi. I do not enjoy writing in Marathi. It's just a preference for me. I'm not that great in spoken Marathi either, so that's not the way I choose to express. I choose Marathi to express when I'm angry because that is what it is good for me. Going back to my writing, so I got started with writing fiction, but I wasn't that good at writing fiction, and the love that I had for fiction did not go that well. So I was never able to do justice to fiction till now, and bear with me, I've barely scratched the surface of writing. It's just been 4 years. It's a very short part of my life that I've been writing. But I wanted to talk about it quite a lot because it is an important part of me. Other than the art of journaling is important to just air out your thoughts. Most therapists recommend that as a way to let out your emotions. Most of us don't have a coherent outlet, You can't just go and scream at people your thoughts and emotions. So that may feel good, but you can't just do that. So the way I used to express was by journaling, and then by not sharing personal details but abstracting out what I'm feeling. And that was the way I got over the fear of being cringe, because one more reason that I got over the fear was that I don't have that many readers. I have one or two if I'm lucky. So at that time, if no one else is reading, then there is no problem in putting that out. So I don't really have a problem in putting that out. With that said, I'm going to stop blabbing. It has been 10 minutes. I don't want to keep this podcast going for a long time, especially when I don't have a lot of experience in talking. And I have to listen to my voice. I can't stress that enough. I have to listen to it for 10.5 minutes and then actually be able to edit it. So I'm going to cut this clip short, but what follows would be an article that I'm really proud of. I wrote it last year. It does not have a lot of viewers, so I would request everyone to read it. That would just warm my heart, more or less. It's one of the best articles, according to me, that I have written. It's also extremely abstract, and it's one of my favorites because it has a nice obscure Pokemon reference, and it is the only one where I have used a Pokemon reference, and I love Pokemon, so let's see if you can find the reference. So I'll be cutting this video short, where the readout of the article will follow. I had written this article in April of 2024. This article came at a moment where I was walking with some of my colleagues after lunch, and there was a conversation. I don't know exactly what the conversation went like, but it was that conversation that triggered something in me and made me want to write this article. Okay, so without further ado, I would be reading it out from the screen next to me, so I won't be looking at the camera. And also it would make me a little bit emotional, so I don't want to look at the camera. So here we go. Trailing off. There's no escape. The whole world is drenched in the memories of you. From Solstice Queen. I was thinking of a lot of things until I started shaking with the overlap of one thought and another, each of them left unfinished. I was thinking of you, of me, of all of us, how we exist, how we survive, how we persist, and how we thrive. I was escaping into my mind, but I failed miserably. I tried all the doors, yet all led me out of me. There's a heavy desire to leave it all behind and go inwards, leave a shell behind. I'll trade off half my health for it. Or maybe I already have. I'll leave the shell to take damage while I can survive safely within. Maybe this is why I exist, and maybe the only way I persist. I think of being limited in ways I can't comprehend. I've accepted a fate that seems unreal and confined myself to a life I see unfulfilled. I'm young, you say. I'll be okay when old, you exclaim. But I can't make myself believe you. I hear your words, but they can't pierce the shell of what I've become. I'm strong, you say, yet I feel weaker than most. I'm hard on myself, you say, and I don't know what else to be. This can't be it, I have to believe. There is more to it, I have to perceive. There is more I can do, and I have to do it. I can share your burden, you say, yet I'm reluctant to let it go. I find a piece of me in the burden I carry, and I'm afraid to lose it. I'm afraid of what I am if I'm not carrying it. I'm afraid to find out what I can be without it. So I will carry it. And I will carry it alone, and I'll feel sorry for all of me that could exist if I let go. Instead of letting my burden go, I'll let go of you. I'll let go in peace. I'll wish for it. I'll wish to be alone. Yet I know I wanted you more than I wanted to be alone again. I'll blame myself and I'll take on more than I ever had the capacity to take. I will scream and I will complain, but I will not slow down. I'll leave you behind and I'll go through more and more versions of you, each leaving a lesser impact on me than the last, and I'll blame myself for letting go of you every time while I become something I barely recognize. Honey, I trailed off. I was supposed to stay on a path. I can't quite remember where the path would have led me, but I have gone astray. I'll wish I could pull myself back, and I'll wonder, am I too far gone? Am I too far gone? I'll ask a version of you, while I could barely comprehend the answer, and I'll look at you through the blurry outline of what I used to recognize. I'll realize how far I've gone, but I don't know when. I'll wish to be better, and I'll be. For a while, I'll be. But it won't give me contentment. I'll still wish for more. More than I have, more than I could have, more than I deserve. And I'll want to go back to having less. I'll want to go back within me because that is where I'm safe. I'll pat myself on the back for being true to me, being true to a version of me that has long since been dead to you. The version that I can't quite remember but I'm nostalgic for anyway. And I'll live pretending I am sure and I never quite changed. Maybe someday I'll go back to you when you are not you and I am not me. And it will not be the same, but I'll want that. I'll want it deep within my bones. I know I'll remember the feeling of wanting because want, unlike me, never changed. Thank you.